Hello, and thank you for being here. Today, we're going to talk about something nearly every parent experiences at some point: homework battles. Now, and it's just not just homework, but the frustration, the tension, and sometimes the feelings that evenings are becoming more stressful than just calm and relaxing. This session is designed to give you all of the practical tools you will need to use immediately to make homework much, much smoother for both you and your child. So, let me describe a familiar evening. Homework is on the table, dinner is getting cold, and your child says, I just don't get it. You try to explain, and they get upset. You try a different way, and they start to shout. You get frustrated, someone shuts down, and suddenly the evening just feels like a losing battle. If this sounds familiar, you're not alone. And more importantly, this is not a parenting failure, and it's not laziness from the child either. Homework battles usually happen because a child is either A, overwhelmed by the task, or B, missing a foundational area of learning, a foundational concept from earlier. Neither of these things are character problems. They're learning problems, and learning problems can always be solved with the right technique and with the right support. Another important factor is the relationship dynamic. When parents start trying to become teachers, something very, very subtle starts to change. Instead of feeling supported, children often feel less evaluated. Instead of feeling safe, they will start to feel pressured. And this creates a power struggle. Now, here, there's also very, very important brain science involved. When a child feels stressed or overwhelmed, the prefrontal cortex, the thinking part of the brain, becomes less active. And that's the part that is responsible for a whole array of things: problem solving, reasoning, working memory, and even attention. So, the harder we push during the stress, the harder the thinking starts to become. And this is why homework battles escalate so quickly. Let's talk about practical strategies you can use immediately. The first is the 10-minute body start. So instead of starting homework immediately after school, begin with some movement. This could be a short walk, dancing, a bit of a stretch, a little quick game, trampoline time, anything that is active or enjoyable. This movement will increase the dopamine and it will also help the brain transition into focus mode. You're not delaying homework, you're just preparing the brain to succeed. The second strategy is the Scribe Method. In this, when the children feel overwhelmed, starting is often the hardest part. So instead of insisting that they write everything themselves, you become the scribe. They will explain the answer and you write it down. This reduces pressure on handwriting, organization, working memory, and most importantly, perfectionism. Perfectionism is very, very important. It's a struggle that a lot of children um, find themselves in. They want their notes to be pristine, they want their homework to be perfect, and everything to be there. That is beautiful with different highlighters, different colors, different colored pens, underline, bold, everything like that. Now, this is a good way of getting nice notes. However, these notes are not to be published. This homework isn't going to be published anywhere. It's just for them and for the teacher just to see how much they're doing. So this can be messy, and it's important to highlight this. It could waste valuable time just making notes very, very presentable. Now, once the momentum will build, children will often just take over naturally, and you're now lowering the barrier to entry. The third strategy is a closed loop check-in. So instead of asking, what do you have for homework as soon as they get home from school, ask, what are the three specific tasks for tonight? Specific questions will create clarity, and clarity will reduce avoidance. Avoidance will invoke structure, and structure will reduce anxiety. This small chain can transform how homework starts. Now, let's talk about something deeper. Sometimes strategies help, but frustration often keeps returning. So this is often caused by what we call a hidden gap. And it's a concept from months, years ago, but it's not really quite fully understood yet. Examples of these hidden gap problems include timetable gaps affecting fractions, let's say, or phonics gaps affecting reading comprehension, place value gaps affecting algebra. When homework touches that missing foundation, the child will immediately feel stuck. Now, what parents can now try and do is be like detectives and try to figure this out, but they really shouldn't have to. And this is where SmartX comes in. By focusing on diagnostics, we don't just help with tonight's homework, but we identify missing foundations and rebuild them. When these hidden gaps are fixed, confidence improves and the resistance drops. Homework starts to become easier and learning will accelerate. The goal isn't just finishing the homework, it's making learning feel possible again. Now, we do this in a variety of ways. One to one mentoring with learning. Mentoring is different to tutoring. Mentoring helps them to be more confident, be more exam ready in terms of what to do the night before, how much sleep to get, take some water, all of these things that will help boost exam performance but aren't directly linked to the content itself. There's expert guidance, progress reports every 6 sessions in what we've covered so far. So during the first session, what the tutor would do is a small little test with them to see what they're currently working on. Over the next 6 sessions, they will then fill in gaps in knowledge, fill in those hidden gaps that we talked about, and then make them into strengths. At the end of the 6 sessions, we will do another short test, then for a progress report that will be sent back to you, the parent, so that you know how they are improving and how your child is benefiting from these sessions. Every session will come with exam practice. There will be 24/7 communication from the tutor as well, with a WhatsApp group chat where any rescheduling, any homework help, anything like that can be taken a picture of, sent into there, and the tutor will be able to help out. We'll always stick to the specification that is given to us in terms of IGCSE, AQA, and Excel for all of these examples, different ones for each different student. To help you get started, I've also given you a homework piece contract you can print out and use at home. And if you're tired of being the enforcer and want to go back to kind of being the supporter, being this rock, we'll love to help. SmartX exists to take the homework burden off families and replace frustration with confidence. Thank you for being here.